Hello, good evening. Welcome to the news on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Shirley Annan. The University of Energy and Natural Resources in the Bunafu region now has a new Vice-Chancellor. He is in the person of Professor Harrison Dapa. During his inauguration at the school's main campus in Sunyai, Professor Dapa said his leadership would identify innovative and sustainable ways to generate additional resources for the running of the university.
The University of Energy and Natural Resources, Bono Ahafo's first public university, started life in 2011 with 150 pioneering students and 3 academic programs. 5 years on, the university's enrollment has shot up to 3,500, while the academic programs on offer have also increased from 3 to 20. The investiture signals a transition from the Foundation Vice-Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Esi Ewa, to the new Vice-Chancellor, Professor Harrison Dapa. Professor Dapa hails from Yeji in the Pru district of Bono Ahafo. He had his early education in Bono Ahafo and northern regions before proceeding to the University of Ghana, where he obtained a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture degree. He pursued further studies and earned a master's and a PhD at the University of Ghana, the University of Guelph, Canada, and the Lincoln University in New Zealand. He spent most of his early working life as a scientist at the Crop Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. Prior to his appointment, Professor Harrison Dapa was the principal of the College of Agricultural Education of the University of Education, Winneba. The chairman of the University Council, Professor John S.K. Eyim, mentioned that a new vice-chancellor would have a tough task because financial support from central government has dwindled. Besides, tertiary education is witnessing greater competition with high expectations from stakeholders, while university facilities have fallen short of student numbers. The Foundation Vice-Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Esi Ewa, called on stakeholders to cooperate with the new Vice-Chancellor to deliver. Professor Harrison Dapa outlined his vision for the university.
I will seek to build a strong research base through adaptation and innovation with global reach and impact accord on what I call the pillars of my vision to enable UNED meet challenges and opportunities that that future presents to us. In an increasingly fast-paced world, driven by incremental changes in knowledge generation, in the higher education landscape, UNED cannot behave as a typical ivory tower institution and remain in its comfort zone. In the light of this, I'll offer strategic participative leadership to sustain and improve on the achievements made so far. I'll continually prosecute a change agenda that will enable us to overcome some of the challenges outlined earlier and maximize the opportunities before us.
The Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Benita Okitedua, says maintenance of good sanitation and protection of coastal lines should not only be the sole responsibility of recruited coastal guards, but a shared responsibility. She advised coastal communities to help ensure clean beaches. Madam Okitedua was speaking at the launch of the Coastal Sanitation, Water Bodies and Coastal Protection Assistance Module of the Youth Employment Agency at Tepa Abotiase in the Volta region.
To help curb pollution of Ghana's coastline, the Youth Employment Agency has come up with a Youth in Coastal Sanitation Module. The initiative seeks to help maintain clean beaches and ensure healthy environment for inhabitants and tourists. The Volta Regional Minister, Madame Helen Ntoso, commended the people of the region for maintaining a relatively healthy environment. The Chief Executive of the Youth Employment Agency, Mr. Kwame Bichim, disclosed that the agency is tasked to provide 100,000 jobs for the youth in the country. He says so far, 56,000 youth have been employed in the various modules. Mr. Bechem said under the Youth in Coast Sanitation module, the youth will be responsible for cleaning and protecting the beaches, planting trees and preventing activities like sand winning and open defecation. They will also work as tour guides at the beaches.
The YEA has designed a training program for each and every one of its beneficiaries. All coastal sanitation assistants will undergo regular orientation and training programs to equip them with job-related as well as...
first class dual carriage so polytechnic.
From here, the Vice President delegation called on the Sarkin Zango of Koforidua and his elders. The Zango chiefs called for an issue-based electioneering campaign devoid of acrimony and mudslinging. All this while, Koforidua Anglon, a settler community, was bubbling with Bobobo and Agbaja in anticipation of Vice President Mr. Arthur and his delegation. Here too, Mr. Arthur sold a message of changing lives, transforming Ghana to the masses, most of who are at the bottom of the social ladder and needed lifeline enhancing social interventions like LEAP and access to rural electrification, potable water, affordable shelter, education and health, among others. This, according to Mr. Arthur, was the stock in trade of John Mahama, who the people need to vote for on December 7 to continue to provide quality, people-centered leadership. Nto Bibini Nto, GBC24, Koforidua.
Our government has once more explained the good reasons for withdrawing the nurses and teacher trainee allowances during a visit to the Health Assistant Training School in the Eastern Region. Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur said in the last 2 years, the withdrawn trainee allowances have gone into the building of more infrastructure, resulting in an increased enrollment by more than 10,000 nurses and teacher trainees. Nto Bibini Nito has more.
The last day of his 3-day tour of the Eastern Region took Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur and his entourage to the Saviour Church of God complex at Osim. It was to call on the General Superintendent of the church and a member of the Council of State, Openyi Abraham Edusei. Openyi Edusei, who is also the president of the World Cocoa Farmers Organization, is very influential in that part of the country and has contributed immensely to the development of Ghana. The church has a hospital which takes care of the health needs of the people, a secondary school, and a health assistance training school. To the church, governance is all about development.
Bianso ni mwajuma abano ene ni mpanifo eye enti yanso di akire a yeboa emse ahai empuntuo pii wo ha akoso ha enam aban so de kan de pise aban bi eni ho aba atumi ama development say aba.
Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur thanked the Saviour Church of Ghana for having impacted positively on the lives of Ghanaians since 1925. From here, the Vice President's entourage visited the Health Assistance Training School and interacted with the students. Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur explained the rationale for withdrawing the nurses and teacher trainee allowances, first by elevating their institutions to tertiary level to put them at par with their counterparts in the advanced world.
Previously, the government paid an allowance to students, nurses, and student teacher trainees. It meant that because the government's resources were limited, we were only able, in terms of teachers, to take about 35,000 in all the institutions in this country in a year, because we didn't have enough money to pay allowances to them. The same with nurses. So we decided that the way to do it, as the Honorable Fusampofo has said, by making these tertiary institutions, it allows you to take advantage of the financing that is available for students in all our universities, our tertiary institutions, polytechnics, universities, and other tertiary institutions. Since this was done, by freeing the institutions from paying allowances, we've been able to increase the number of student trainees in our country by 10,000 people in the last 2 years.
Although the school is barely 3 years old, quality teaching and learning here makes management confident of churning out good health workers.
We all know what happens to an infant when your mother doesn't give you breast milk. You die. So I will take this opportunity to ask that the Vice President will give us 2 buses.
Government said it will continue to take decisions that are in the best interest of Ghanaians.
There's more to come in this. You're welcome back. In international news, the disputed leader of Nigerian Islamist group Boko Haram has released a video message denying a claim by the military that he was killed or badly wounded in airstrike last month. Abubakar Shekau appeared healthy in the video. It is not clear when it was recorded. Earlier this month, the Islamic State group to which Boko Haram has pledged allegiance announced that Shekau was being replaced as leader. IS said he had been replaced by the lesser-known Abu Musab al-Banawi, but Shekau said he was still in charge. In August, the Nigerian army said that Shekau had been previously wounded in an air raid in which several commanders were killed. The military has yet to comment on the latest video. A military campaign launched in 2014 has seen Nigerian troops reclaim large tracts of territory in the northeast of the country from the Islamist group. The sports news is next. The draw for the 2016 Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations billed for Nigeria has been held. The national beach soccer team, the Black Sharks, have been drawn in Group A.
The draw for the second edition of the Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations Nigeria 2016 has been held at a ceremony at the CAF headquarters in Cairo. It was led by the CAF Secretary General alongside representatives of the 8 participating countries. Ghana is in Group A alongside Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt and Nigeria. Group B is made up of Madagascar, Libya, Morocco and Senegal. The top 2 teams from the preliminary stages will qualify for the knockout phase of the tournament, scheduled to take place from 13th to 18th of December in Lagos. The finalists will qualify to represent Africa at next year's FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup in Bahamas. Host Nigeria will begin their campaign against Egypt in Group A, while reigning champions Madagascar face Libya.
The entertainment news comes up shortly. Please stay.
Pain and body aches are bedfellows to domestic chores and other common daily activities of our lives for our mothers, wives and sisters. But there's always AFAG, the powerful and effective quick-acting medicine that will help relieve you of your aches and drive away your pains, like a referee showing the red card to a notorious player.
US actor Bill Nunn, who featured in Spider-Man as well as films by the director Spike Lee, has died aged 63 at his home in Pittsburgh. The actor, best known for his role as Radio Raheem in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, had been battling cancer. Mr. Lee paid tribute to his dear friend on social media, saying he was resting in power. Nunn went on to appear in dozens of films and TV programs, including New Jack City and Sirens. That's all in the news. Thank you for watching.